Welcome back to the France 24 newsroom. Now it's time for our international press review. Owen Fairclough is doing the honours today, and you're rather fluey, I know.
I am a bit full of cold, Hannah, but I was about to make a dreadful pun there about Cold War, but that's
I guess
really
you're going to Georgia and Russia then.
You could say that. That's where we're starting today, as you'd expect, some fairly robust headlines coming out of Russia on the back of the decision by President Medvedev to recognise Georgia's breakaway regions as independent states. We take a look at Kommersant, a Russian daily, first of all. Their headline there talks about a wave across the world. Now, in Russian, that's actually a pun, and it translates into basically a world war. So really showing its colours there. It suggests that the Russian president is ready for a renewed conflict with the West. And the picture you can see there is of a religious symbol which basically reinforces the East's domination over the West. This piece in Kommersant says it's the biggest political development since 9/11. Relations with the West will never be the same. We take a look at Gazeta, another Russian daily, fairly nationalist. Their headline translates tears of joy. It describes the jubilation in the streets, people firing guns into the air off the back of this decision.
In Russia?
In Russia, I beg your pardon, yeah, in Russia certainly, and across the breakaway regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. Pravda as well, another Russian daily, their headline says, in the name of the Russian people, they think this was bound to happen, and that they called the Georgian aggression a crime against humanity. So many of those papers not pulling their punches. The Moscow Times, an English-speaking Russian daily, they've got quite a thoughtful editorial with a cartoon. It's got a Russian and a US American soldier sitting atop a nuclear missile. It basically looks at these relations now in the light of the Cold War, suggests that Russia and Washington, who had been working on an arms reduction strategy, really need to accelerate this to avoid any recurrence of hostilities, and suggests that maybe Europe could lead the way there. Europe has its own arms reduction strategy with Russia, and it's already led to the scrapping of thousands of tanks.
Well, what is the European or indeed the international reaction then to this story?
Well, the Tagesspiegel picks up this European perspective. That's the German paper, says that Angela Merkel is very much keen on dialogue with Russia. Germany, of course, has big oil and gas interests with Russia, so an important customer. And if we look at the Wall Street Journal in the United States, quite a right-wing and bullish editorial in that paper, basically says that Russia is weaker than it thinks, that the Russian population will shrink by a quarter over the next 40 years, and that Russia effectively is built on short-term gains, lots of corruption, and it ends by reminding Russia of its weakness by suggesting that the US sends some Stinger missiles into Georgia, so not pulling its punches.
Now, of course, another story we're covering in depth, of course, is the Democratic Convention, Caucasus to the Caucasus, I guess.
That's right. Well, the reaction we've had from the States has been coming in, obviously. We're looking at a piece on Barack Obama, looking ahead basically to Bill Clinton's speech on Wednesday. We've had Hillary Clinton's speech to the convention. Suggests now, the New York Times, I should say, that Bill Clinton basically needs to bury his differences with Barack Obama and concentrate on attacking John McCain. That's from the New York Times we just had in the last hour or so.
Just very, very quickly, Owen, if we can, I gather you've got a piece that will be close to my heart, certainly about driving.
It will. I know you're learning to drive, Hannah. You'll pay particular attention to this one. The Daily Express in the UK, apparently 8 out of 10 British drivers who are heading over to Calais for their holidays in France being caught speeding, apparently, according to French police. They basically ignore the law. The speed limit in France is 81 miles an hour. Many drivers, British drivers, have been caught doing 120 miles an hour around Calais. So, in fact, British police are now patrolling the roads around Calais.
Looking for these, I guess, British drivers on their booze cruise, let's face it.
That's it, yeah. No boozing for them. And
speeding
keep your foot
on
off the
their
gas.
way to the supermarket or on their way to the port?
Possibly both, I think.
The race is on. OK, Owen Fairclough, thank you very much for that. That wraps up our international press. If you do stay with us here on France 24.